This is Trinity Storm and you are watching first part of What If Naruto Was Betrayed by Jiraiya during 3 years training trip. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe to the channel. Now wasting no more time, let's start the story.
Tsunade Senju sits at her desk, dealing with paperwork, the bane of all Kage. She has fair skin, honey brown eyes, and straight blonde hair parted above her brow. Her hair is shoulder-length with shoulder-length bangs that frame her face and reaches her lower back. She is dressed in a gray and sleeveless kimono blouse, a blue obi, capri pants, and strappy-heeled sandals. Tsunade sighs and rubs her eyes before picking up a photo of a boy with blonde hair and blue eyes, but his most distinguishing feature was 3 whiskers on each cheek. Oh Naruto. I wish you were still here, reflected Tsunade. 3 years have passed since Naruto left on a training trip with her former teammate Jiraiya, but it has only been 2.5 years since she died. Jiraiya returned 6 months after leaving, proclaiming that Naruto had been captured by the Akatsuki. Tsunade collapsed as soon as Jiraiya said those words, but she steeled herself to call an emergency council meeting. The civilian side of the council rejoiced upon learning of Naruto's impending death, while the shinobi side was unconcerned. Danzo, on the other hand, appeared stoic and unconcerned about the situation, but she demanded that her sensei's law be repealed. Tsunade attempted to object, but both councils outvoted her and the law was repealed. Those cretins. I now feel like a figurehead. Using my grief for Naruto to gradually drain my power and poison everyone against you. Almost everyone, that is, Tsunade pondered. She gets out of her seat and grabs her green haori, heading to the tower's roof for some much-needed fresh air. The Godem looks up at the sunset but senses a presence and turns to face a tall and hooded figure, saying, "Hello Hokage-sama." He's dressed in dark blue hybrid Hakama ninja pants, calf-length boots, and a long-sleeved black shirt. He wore a 3/4 length gray hooded coat and a black glove on his right hand. "Who are you?" Tsunade exclaims, flaring her chakra to draw the Anbu's attention. They are unable to attend. "When you stepped onto the roof, a barrier was erected to give us privacy," he claims. Tsunade's eyes narrow and her fists clench. "Oh no." He may appear relaxed, but he is completely on guard, she pondered. "So, what do you want?" asks Tsunade. The figure removes his hood, revealing short black hair and a half mask covering the lower half of his face, but his slitted blue eyes were visible. "For the time being, call me Menma." "I'm curious about the Kyuubi Jinchuriki," Tsunade freezes and her eyes flicker as he says this. "I've been in Konoha for a few days and have inquired." Getting the same response that he was a demon incarnate and that he was glad he was dead, Tsunade, on the other hand, was trembling, according to Menma. "Stop talking. Naruto was a good kid who did not belong in this village. He did not deserve to be kidnapped and killed by the Akatsuki," Tsunade exclaims. Menma clenches his gloved fist and says, "So that's what that perverted toad told you, huh?" Tsunade nods slowly and Menma tsks with a hiss that, however, was a lie. "The truth was Jiraiya and 3 squads of Nei," he claims. Tsunade exclaims, "What? You're lying." But Menma raises his hand to his mask and slowly pulls it down, revealing dark and thick whiskers on his cheeks. "I'm not Ba-chan because I was there," Menma exclaims, widening Tsunade's eyes. "Naruto?" exclaims Tsunade, her voice breaking. Menma, or Naruto, pulls the Shodem necklace from his shirt and says, "You gave this to me after I won our bet with the Rasengan." Tsunade covers her mouth as tears stream down her cheeks, exclaiming, "How? Why?" Danzo Shimura employs the pervert. He revealed his true colors 2 months after we left. He said he was handing me over to Danzo to be turned into a weapon for him. I thought he was joking, but the 3 Nei squads told me otherwise, says Naruto. How did you get away? Tsunade wonders, trying to make sense of it all. Shadow clones. But Jiraiya caught up and tried to sever Kurama's head. Naruto begins, but Tsunade furrows her brow. That's the fox's real name. He sent a surge of chakra through the seal, igniting the seals Jiraiya had placed on me, he continues. Tsunade notices Naruto's eyes flashing with rage and sorrow. He gave himself up for me, but his sacrifice was not in vain. By doing so, he transformed me into the new Kyuubi. He reveals 9 white fox tails and black fox ears on his head, he says. Because of this, I was able to escape Jiraiya's grasp, says Naruto, but Tsunade slams into him with a tight hug. Naruto is taller than her, and her forehead brushes against his chin. Naruto, I'm so sorry, she says quietly. It's not your fault, Ba-chan, Naruto says, pulling back. But why did Jiraiya wait another 4 months to return? Asks Tsunade. He was looking for me and making up a story for Danzo, says Naruto. Tsunade bites her nail in rage. That explains why that one-eyed bastard was so confident that day, she says. I bet he's been harassing you as well, Naruto says, to which Tsunade scoffs. I've almost become a celebrity. Danzo and his associates poisoned the village. The repeal of Sensei's law was the first step, Tsunade elaborates. How did my fellow rookies react? Asks Naruto. Tsunade folds her arms and gazes up at the sky. Only Hinata and Sakura continue to remember you. Shizune, Anko, Neko, Hana, and Sum Inuzuka, among others, despise you, she elaborates. Konohamaru and his friends? Asks Naruto, as Tsunade sighs. Asuma. Kurenai and those crones drove them to hate you, Tsunade responds. Naruto runs his fingers through his hair, I see. Then it makes this easier, he says as he walks over to the railing. What's easier? Asks Tsunade. Naruto pulls a small book from his right cargo pocket and hands it to her, please read it. Kurama took me to Uzushio after I escaped Jiraiya. He claims. Tsunade opens the book and begins reading. How did you know to go there? She wonders. Apparently Mom and Dad imprinted fragments of their souls on the seal to help me control Kurama's power, Naruto responds, shocking Tsunade. Needless to say, I was shocked and angry, but I got over it. When I told them what had happened, they were furious. Then they went through my memories, training me in my mindscape until their chakra was depleted. I discovered everything they knew, as stated by Naruto. Tsunade's eyes widen as Naruto smirks. You're looking at not only the second coming of the Kyuubi no Yoko, but the yellow flash, he says. Those stupid idiots, Tsunade begins, but a shocked gasp escapes her lips, followed by a rage-filled yell. That fucked up cripple. He and those two sold out Uzushio behind Sensei's back, Tsunade exclaims. Danzo feared Uzushio's power, Naruto says, closing the book. Tsunade snaps, he's a xenophobic bastard. Indeed, and judging by what you said, he's maneuvering to finally take the hat from you, says Naruto. Then what do you propose we do? Asks Tsunade. Naruto smirks as he pops a lollipop into his mouth, bring everyone you trust. I have a strategy, he says this while handing her a familiar tri-prong kunai. Use that when you gather everyone. I'll be there right away, Naruto says before disappearing in a white flash. Tsunade clutches the kunai and dashes off to gather her only allies. After an hour. As everyone gathers in Tsunade's office, Shizune asks, what is this about Tsunade-sama? Tsunade places the tri-prong kunai on the desk, saying, I've learned certain things that have shaken me to my core and shaken my resolve in remaining Hokage. Are you serious, Tsunade-sama? Exclaims Anko. Tsunade throws the kunai into the ceiling, filling the room with a white flash. Naruto lands wearing a hood and carrying a large scroll on his back, causing everyone to prepare to attack, and Hinata employs her Byakugan. "Stand down," yells Tsunade. Hinata, on the other hand, gasps and her eyes widen, and Naruto, she sputters, shocking everyone. Hinata. "Naruto died," says Sakura. Hinata's eyes were always perceptive. "Datbeo," Naruto says as he removes his hood with a tilt of his head. "That is not possible." Naruto, according to Jiraiya-sama, was captured and killed by the Akatsuki, Sum claims. "It's not impossible, Mom." Jiraiya-sama did not appear with a body, Hana states. "Agreed, and his scent matches the boy, but it's even more fox than before," Kuromaru says, but Anko tits with a kunai. "I can definitely taste his sweet blood," Anko says. Naruto sighs and frowns. "I'd rather you didn't," he says. Naruto, Sakura begins, and Naruto turns only to be punched in the stomach. Naruto's eyes bulge and he falls to his knees as Sakura shakes her fist. "Naru Baka," she says, tears welling up in her eyes. I deserve it, and I'll explain why." "Is this true for everyone?" Naruto says as he struggles to his feet. "Yes. Anyone else could be compromised already," Tsunade says, stifling a laugh. Shizune inquires, "What do you mean, Tsunade-sama?" "Everyone else has been poisoned by Danzo's propaganda against me as the Kyuubi Jinchuriki, or rather former Kyuubi Jinchuriki," Naruto says. Everyone becomes glum and sad. "What do you mean former?" Hana inquires. Except for Anko, Yugo, and Sum, the girls squeal as Naruto retells what he told Tsunade and reveals his fox features. "Hey, like an alpha," the feral woman says, and Anko tits. "S so fluffy," Hinata, Shizune, and Sakura exclaim as they grab his tails. Hana coughs, a blush on her cheeks, and asks, "Anyway, why did you want all of us here?" Naruto shakes his tails free and dispels them, saying, "Simple. You're all going to die," and the room falls silent. "What?" everyone exclaims. Naruto surrenders by raising his hands. "What I mean is that I'm going to impersonate your deaths, allowing you all to flee. If you choose not to go, I will erase your memories of these events," he claims. "Why do we have to leave Naruto?" asks Hinata. "Well, because Danzo will eventually make a move on Ba-chan to become Hokage," Naruto begins, but sighs, "Besides, hasn't your father?" "Fellow rookies. Fellow Jonin and villagers have grown cold to you all," he continues. He is correct. The village has always had it in for me, but now that you're gone, it has shifted back to me, Anko makes a comment. "My Anbu team is beginning to question my loyalty," Yugu says as she removes her mask. "Father even branded me," Hinata explains as she moves her bangs. "So what say you all?" Clenches Naruto's fist. "My family is gradually removing me from the pack. So count me in," Hana states. "My dog and I both agree." Kiba has become more vocal in his desire to depose me as clan chief, and the elders have agreed, Sum claims. "Konoha has never been fond of me. So, what the hell happened?" Anko claims, "I serve the Hokage, and wherever she goes, I will follow," Neko says, staring at her mask. "And Naruto. I want to go with you," Hinata says, poking her fingers at Naruto. "Thank you very much. Do you have everything now? We can't afford to wait. I'll bring some clones to see what happens." "I know this is a lot to take in, but we have to leave," says Naruto. "Okay, hold hands," Naruto says as he grasps Tsunade's shoulder. Naruto raises a half ram sign and says, cover my scent and blow yourselves up," to which all three nod. The group vanishes in a white flash, with one saying, "Let's get to work," and the others nodding. The night was peaceful in Konoha, but it was shattered when the Hokage Tower exploded. As civilians flee in terror, Anbu and the shinobi rush to the tower to fight the fire. However, the fire was fierce and took hours to extinguish, and more than half of the building was destroyed. Danzo and his fellow elders arrive on the scene and ask, "What happened?" The tower blew up in a fireball. "We believe Hokage-sama was present," one Anbu's name is Wolf. "I see. Keep searching," Danzo says as he grips his cane. "Could Tsunade have been inside?" asks Kaharu as he adjusts his glasses. "This could be an opportunity," says Danzo. The fire was quickly extinguished in the morning, forcing the council to convene at Anbu HQ. Shikaku inquires, "Do we know what happened?" Preliminary reports indicated that the explosion was instantaneous, Inoichi says. "Do we know who else was there besides Hokage-sama?" asks Shikaku. Personnel records show Shizune Kato, Sume and Hana Inazuka with their Nin-ken, Anko Mitarashi, Neko, Sakura Haruno and Hanada Hyuga, Homura reports, adjusting his glasses with a false concern. "Good riddance. They are demon worshippers, especially my niece," Achika Haruno says as she flicks her strawberry blonde hair. "Whatever the case may be. In the last 16 years, we've lost 3 Hokage. We require long-term stability or else other countries will prey on us." Hiyashi declares that he is unconcerned about his daughter. "Then I nominate Danzo as Rokudame," Homura says, to murmurs from the council. "I second the nomination," adds Kaharu. "Then I accept your nomination as Rokudame," Danzo says, as the council murmurs again but raises their hands in agreement. "I'll contact Daimyo-sama with our decision and announce it to the village," Homura says as the council leaves, leaving only the 3 elders. "If we knew who did this, I'd thank them," Kaharu says. "I wouldn't. The scroll of sealing could be found in the tower. All that knowledge is gone," Danzo says, gripping his cane. "Contact Orochimaru. It's time for the errant Uchiha and Sannin to return home," he adds, and they both nod. Ruins of Uzushiogakure. Naruto and his companions appear among the ruins, all of them looking dizzy from the journey. Tsunade was the first to recover and the first to see the ruins of her grandmother's clan, which she describes as the source of the Third Shinobi War. 3 entire villages. "No, 4 villages to topple one small country," says Naruto. 4? Sume wonders, and Tsunade sighs. Danzo. Orochimaru and Jiraiya sold out the Uzumaki to Iwa. Kumo and Kiri, Tsunade responds, surprising everyone. She is correct. In the ruins, I discovered a journal. Danzo contacted the 3 Kage and had Jiraiya give them the tools they needed to avoid the island's seals, and the rest is history, as stated by Naruto. Did the Sandaime find out? Sakura inquires, but Naruto shakes his head. Until the deed was done and the Uzumaki scattered to the winds, Gigi had no idea that his former teammate and 2 of his students had betrayed him, Naruto responds. As Naruto leads them through the ruins, the group becomes quiet and sullen. Please follow me. I found a bunker to sleep in. We'll leave tomorrow, he says, but his brow furrows. Oh, I forgot. I have a suggestion for all of you, Naruto continues. What proposal, Naruto? Tsunade inquires. Naruto shifts the large scroll, shocking them by saying, I want to make you pseudo Biju. What? How? They exclaim. Naruto flashes them a sly grin, almost everything. I'll connect my chakra to yours. You'll have similar power to mine, but the number of tails you gain is determined by your reserves. It's similar to what Kurama did, but there's no loss of life, he elaborates. You are not required to do so if you do not wish to. You'd be essentially giving up your humanity. Consider it tonight, Naruto continues, and they follow him to the bunker, lost in thought. Gaki, what's that big scroll? Anko inquires, and Naruto returns a glance. The sacred scroll. I wasn't going to let them keep it, says Naruto. Take whatever room you want. We'll talk again in the morning, Naruto says as he walks to his room. The group chooses their rooms, but they all end up in Tsunade's room. So, what do you think? She asks. It's difficult to say. For reasons we don't understand, the pup essentially wants to make us pseudo-biju, Sum begins. I believe Naruto-kun. He returned to help us, Hinata says.
Shizune sighs and pets Taunton, saying, if we knew his plan.
We could better decide, Taunton oinks. He might want revenge on Konoha, Hana says, but Anko laughs. Who can blame him? Everything in the village has been done to bring him down. His ostensible friends betrayed him for petty reasons. Bastard Iruka was ordered to befriend him, she claims. How do you know that? Sakura inquires, while Anko scowls. He attempted to sleep with me. He became inebriated and blurted it out, Anko responds. In any case, tomorrow. We'll ask him and take it from there, Tsunade claims. Naruto tosses his coat on the large scroll next to the chair. With a sigh, the new Kyuubi sits on his cot and removes his glove, revealing a sun mark on his hand. Hagoromo Jiji. Except for Iruka Sensei, I got some of my precious people out, however, his ears twitch and a growl escapes his mouth. This causes a white blur to emerge from beneath the cot. Naruto blinks and calms down, saying, sorry Haru, as a small white fox leaps onto him. As his mind wanders, Haru yips and Naru scratches her ear, causing her to purr. Flashback. As multiple red seals glow on his body, Naruto struggles and stumbles to stay upright and run, his face contorted in rage, pain, and sadness. Behind Naruto stood his sensei, a pseudo-grandfather and a trusted friend who had turned traitor. Enough running, Naruto. It's time you took your rightful place as Konoha's weapon, Jiraiya says. Kyuubi no Yoko was ramming his head into the gate inside the seal. I can't allow the boy to be their pet. I will not be subjugated again, he yells. Kurama comes to a halt and looks down at his reflection in the water. I guess you were correct, old man. A true innocent will require my assistance, he thinks and looks at the gate with determination. Naruto. I'll save you, but you better get revenge on Madara for me in exchange, Kurama exclaims. Naruto falls to his knees, but then lurches up with a burst of red chakra that stuns Jiraiya. Is the Kyuubi breaking free? Yells Jiraiya. Naruto slowly rises to his feet and turns, his eyes glowing red. This toad is well known. Konoha will not accept this young man. This day will be ruled by you and that one-eyed man. Because you made your destroyer, Kurama declares as he disappears with inhuman speed. Flashback finish. Naruto blinks open his slitted blue eyes. Kurama, you were correct. Konoha has created their own destroyer. The irony. He drifted off to sleep, thinking. The next day, Naruto goes to the surface for a light workout but is stopped by Tsunade and the group, asking, have you made up your minds? We'd like to hear your intentions, Naruto. Before we make our decisions, Tsunade says, and Naruto nods slowly. Sure, Follow me, says Naruto as he leads them to a large chamber. Well, my intentions are a series of objectives, but in order to learn it, I need to explain several things, Naruto says as he turns to face them. You've more or less heard of the Sage of Six Paths, he says, and they all nod. It all starts with him. His name was Hagoromo Otsutsuki, but it all started with his mother, Usagi no Megami Kaguya. She was the manifestation of the Shinju, a sacred tree, to be its protector, but she met and fell in love with a man named Tenji. She also made a new friend named Ano. Tenji, on the other hand, grew to fear Kaguya's power and allowed others to poison his mind against her. She and Ano had no choice but to flee the Shinju. Naruto begins and pauses for a brief moment. When Ano discovered Kaguya was pregnant, she attempted to stop Tenji but died in the process. In her grief, Kaguya ate the Shinju fruit and became the first user of chakra. Naruto continues, shocking them. The power drove Kaguya insane, and he slaughtered Tenji and his co-conspirators. She had 2 sons after some time had passed, Hagoromo and Hamura, but the brothers eventually turned against Kaguya for her actions in enslaving the world. Hagoromo took control of the Sharingan and, eventually, the Rinnegan, as stated by Naruto. He possessed 2 of the 3 legendary dojutsu, Neko or Yugo Uzuki says, nodding. How do you know this? Hana inquires, and Naruto takes off his glove, revealing the sun mark on his hand. When Kurama employed a forbidden jutsu unique to the Biju, he was dubbed Sensei. I died and met Hagoromo Jiji, who told me the story. So, to avoid a lengthy explanation, Hagoromo had 2 sons, Indra, the ancestor of the Uchiha, and Ashura, the ancestor of the Senju and Uzumaki. Indra believed in power, while Ashura believed in the importance of bonds. Ba-chan, you remind me of someone, as stated by Naruto. My grandfather. He always said that our ties make us stronger. Tsunade nods as he says. Yes, both Indra and Ashura refused to let their rivalry die. Indra despised Ashura for taking over their clan after Hagoromo died. Ashura refused to allow his brother's insanity to spread. As a result, their souls reincarnated over time. Madara Uchiha and Hashirama Senju were part of a major set. Myself and Sasuke are the current incarnations of Indra and Ashura, Naruto says, shocking everyone once more. This is seriously fucking wild, says Anko. Naruto folds his arms and looks down at his hand. I'm not kidding. My goals are now straightforward. Stop Akatsuki. To prevent Kaguya's rebirth, kill Black Zetsu. Take the 6 path power from Sasuke in order to put an end to Indra's legacy. This last one is purely personal. Konoha must be destroyed, he claims. So you want vengeance on Konoha, Shizune says, but Naruto shakes his head. Not Konoha in general. Only Danzo and those who follow him, Naruto responds, looking them in the eyes. So you'll go through the transformation to help me? He inquires. I will, Naruto, Hinata declares. Naruto nods and smiles warmly. Thank you very much, Hinata. I apologize for not recognizing your feelings for me sooner. Hinata is shocked, he says. So you finally realized it, huh? Sakura says, and Naruto rubs his chin. Yeah. Merging with Kurama helped, says Naruto. Naruto, I'll assist you. Konoha has sacrificed so much for me. It's past time for them to repay me, Tsunade claims. Hana and I will decline. It may have an impact on our relationship with our Ninken, but we will assist you, Tsume speaks up, and Naruto nods. That is acceptable. I can't force you to make this decision, but your assistance is greatly appreciated, says Naruto. I'm in if this change allows me to kill Orochimaru, Anko says. Shizune ne. Neko ne? Asks Naruto. I will assist you, Naruto-kun, but decline the Sensei, Yugo says, and Naruto nods and scratches his ear. I'll assist you as well, Naruto. I'm your big sister, and I need to assist my younger brother, Shizune says, and several yips echo in response. Naruto turns around to see Haru trotting up. Morning Haru, he says as he picks her up. This Haru. I discovered her on the island. She was the first to receive my chakra. Providing her with 2 tails, Haru climbs onto Naru's head as he says this. Okay, everyone, form a circle in the center, Naruto says, and the group follows suit, with Hana, Tsume, Yugo, Kuromaru, and the triplets standing next to him. 5 seal-less clones appear around Naruto and stand behind him. Okay, these clones have been infused with my Biju and 6-path chakras. They will transfer it to you and make the transition easier. Allow it to happen rather than fighting it, he says this as the clones place their hands on their backs. Ready, says Naruto, and all of them nod. The clones summon their chakra, which glows bright red in their hands, before 5 small domes of energy engulf the 5 of them. The amount of oppressive chakra that erupts in front of Hana, Yugo, and Tsume causes their eyes to widen, but Naruto stands in front of them to channel his own, which was bright and warm. The domes die down after 5 minutes, revealing them changed but reborn. Hinata was the first to move, 7 lavender tails swishing behind her, her form now adult, her hair reaching her waist. This is too strange, Sakura says, noticing her 7 pink tails with black tips and looking more mature than Hinata. Finally, they're big, Sakura thought as she noticed her bigger breasts. Tsunade rises to her feet, her form now in her early 20s and 8 blonde tails with black tips. Shizune staggers to her feet with 6 black tails with white tips, but she gasps because her breasts have grown much larger than before, whereas Anko has 6 purple tails. How do you all feel? Asks Naruto. Each of them puts their bodies to the test, and Anko exclaims, hell of a lot stronger and that fucking mark is gone. Hinata and Sakura appear to be in their early 20s, Shizune observes. It appears to push her body to peak condition like mine, says Naruto. So, Naruto, what now? Tsunade asks, her new ears twitching. Naruto yanks Haru's head off. We pack up and head to my base, but first I want you to adjust to your new bodies. You are far more powerful than before, he elaborates.
How do we make our tails and ears move?
Sakura inquires, and Naruto grins. Just think about it, says Naruto, and they obey, returning to normalcy. Where's your base, Naruto? Hinata inquires, while Naruto smiles. Snow Country, or rather Spring Country, says Naruto. This tower does indeed resemble the one in Konoha, Naruto thought as he sat on the roof of the cage tower, his legs crossed and Haru in his lap. It's been a month since he brought Tsunade and the others to Uzushio and transformed them into Fox Biju. Naruto dispatched a clone to Spring to inform Koyuki that he would postpone his return in order to properly train the others. Tsunade, Anko, Shizune, Sakura, and Hinata were unconsciously releasing pheromones, which caused something unexpected or expected to happen in Naruto's case. Tsume and Hana were the first to notice and confront him about it, to which he explained that the 5 of them would experience animal urges such as wanting to mate and lay claim to the alpha, among other things. Tsume understood what Naruto was saying and agreed to teach the others how to control their urges. Needless to say, Hinata and the others were shocked by this revelation and avoided him for the next week, but eventually came around. The Kage Bunshin was taught to them over the next 3 weeks, allowing them to shape up their flaws and strengthen their core skills. Naruto displayed a treasure trove of weapons, jutsu, and knowledge for them to learn, allowing them to broaden their skill sets. Are you ready to go home, Haru? Naruto muses as she rubs her ear, and Haru yips. Naruto gets to his feet and disappears into the wind, reappearing outside the village. Tsunade and others were mediating, but their fox ears twitched at every sound. Is it time for us to leave? Tsunade inquires. Yeah. I've been gone for far too long. Koyuki will be furious, says Naruto. I am so taking a long and hot shower, Sakura says as everyone stands up. The same with me and some dango, Anko remarks. Naruto hands Haru to Hinata, and they all join hands before disappearing in a huge white flash. Spring Countery. Welcome to my home, Naruto says as he and his group enter the courtyard of a large compound. Everyone is taken aback by the beautiful scenery and large home. It has a number of training areas, a dojo as well as an outdoor bath, Naruto says as he lets Haru run around. I have to report in. The house is now yours. Feel free to experiment, Naruto says before disappearing in a flash. Tsunade, Shizune, and Hinata begin to explore as Anko, Sakura, Yugo, Hana, and Tsume rush off to the outdoor bath. Tsunade remarks, this place doesn't look cheap, but it has a Spartan feel to it. The three continue their exploration, discovering 10 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, a fully stocked kitchen, and a room full of weapons. One weapon, however, stood out for its enormous size, an enormous halberd with a large double-edged sword. It has a large crescent moon design on the pommel and white wrapping around the blade. Tsunade remarks, Kami. That is a massive weapon. About time, Anko chirps as the three continue to explore. We wanted to see the place, Shizune explains as he steps into the water. Tsunade and Hinata follow, but the younger conceals her breasts while Anko grins. I bet Naruto is going to love riding those titties, she says, and Hinata eeps. Are Tsunade Samas, Anko adds, chuckling. Think so, or is it the hormones? Says Tsunade. I can understand Hinata being attracted to Naruto, but all of us, Sakura says as she runs her towel over her cheek. Since Naruto transformed you into phantom foxes, you want him to mate with you because he is the alpha. We taught you to control your desires for Uzushio, but they will remain until you have sex with him and make him our alpha, Tsume comments while sipping sake. To be honest, I was drawn to the young brat. He was so adorable that I desperately wanted to corrupt him, Anko amuses. Sakura remarks, his whiskers are cute. I want to make love with Naruto, but I'm so embarrassed, Hinata says, submerging herself. Then go ahead, Hinata. You were drawn to him first. So go ahead and do it. We have time. Simply tell us how big he is. Hinata blushes brightly as Anko says this, and steam rises from her ears. Meanwhile, Naruto stood in the study as Koyuki sat at her desk, saying, sorry for taking so long to return. It's fine, Naruto-kun. How are the others doing? Says Koyuki. She has long black hair with bangs on each side of her face and violet blue eyes. She is dressed in a green blouse, a gray skirt, and brown shoes. They're adjusting well, but they'll need to keep a low profile for the time being, Naruto says as he cups his chin. I could make them my ghosts like you, so they can teach the next generation, says Koyuki. So you're following through on your goal of establishing a shinobi village, Naruto says softly as he looks outside. Koyuki gets up from her seat and walks to the balcony. Yes, but not in the same way as other countries. Shinobi who are loyal to me and help the people in the shadows. I believe they will be able to lay a solid foundation for it, she claims. Naruto puts his hand on her shoulder and says, then I will do everything in my power to see it come true. Datbeo, to which Koyuki laughs. Even though you've changed so much. That side of you will never die, says Koyuki. Thank you very much, Koyuki. So, by your leave, Naruto says before excusing himself. Naruto returns to his compound, but he is lost in thought. Kurama. I wish you could be here. I need assistance with this problem, or rather 5 problems, he pondered. He continued walking but stopped impaled. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, he thought, creating 5 clones. We require food and sake. You 3 load up. You 2 go shopping for basic clothing, says Naruto, and the 5 salute before leaping off. Hello Ghost-sama. Hello Menma-sama, several people greet Naruto as he walks through town. Here, Ghost Dono, says an older woman, tossing him an apple. Thanks Kaide, Naruto says as he removes his mask to reveal his face beneath a henge. Even if it means wearing a henge to conceal my whiskers. This is what I've wanted since I was a child. People are treating me fairly and not as if I were a demon incarnate, Naruto pondered. Naruto arrives at his compound just as the clones arrive with a slew of bags, before opening the gate. He could tell they were gathered in the living room as he finished his apple. I'll take your clothes. You all begin preparing dinner, he says as he opens the front door. Naruto takes off his boots and walks into the living room, where he finds them dressed in his robes. Please accept my apologies. I have some simple clothes for you to wear until you can go shopping for new clothes, Naruto says as he drops his bags. Naruto quickly turns around as they remove their robes to search the bags. You know. You can watch Gaki, Anko chirps, scratching his chin. Sorry, I am a gentleman, unlike that pervert, Naruto says, his voice slightly husky. Don't bring it up, bastard. He was always sniffing around me after he returned to Konoha, Tsunade says as he puts on sweatpants and a t-shirt. Naruto rubs his brow and pops a lollipop into his mouth. They are only temporary. You can get your own clothes the next day, he claims. And Naruto. We're decent, Hinata says, turning around. So, how are you all doing? Concerning your desires. I know it's something I forgot to mention before the switch, Naruto says as he sits in a chair. As Hinata blushed brightly with her head down, the room fell silent. We can handle it, Naruto, Tsunade says, but deep down, I want you to mount me and make me yours. Gaki, I agree. I want you to destroy me for the sake of other men, with a lick of her lips, Anko says. How did you handle your urges? Naruto-kun, Shizune inquires. Naruto indicates the lollipop in his mouth. I eat lollipops. When I was on the island, however, I used a Kage Bunshin and it hanged using my sexy jutsu, he begins, and Anko laughs. Anko laughs, followed by Sume, so you fucked yourself. Yes, and it was effective for about 3 months. As a result, I decided to return to the mainland. I went to a brothel in the capital and stayed for a week. Yumi, the matron, taught me how to properly please a woman and control my desires, Naruto elaborates. How do you properly please a woman? Sakura inquires. Naruto nods slowly and crosses his legs. She said I was a natural at cunningless, he says, shocking everyone. I'm sold, chirps Anko. After that, I was able to control my urges and went back to my training, but I would flash back for the occasional romp, Naruto explains, his face flushed. For the time being, I'll set that aside. Their feelings for you are an unintended consequence of their transformations. So, contrary to what Sume said earlier, you will not force them to be with you, Yugo makes a comment. No, I will not do something so heinous. I admit that I am attracted to them, but I refuse to force them to do anything. You've all been there for me. When everyone else dismissed me. You are my precious people to me, Naruto says, causing everyone to smile. Let's put this aside for now. How are you going to explain us to the spring people? We are no longer alive in the eyes of the world, Tsunade claims. Simple. You'll turn into ghosts like me. Outside of Koyuki, I am Menma, the ghost of Flash or Spring. You must change your appearance, just as Ba-chan does with her special henge, as stated by Naruto. Gaki. You're the fucking ghost. S-rank threat with a flee on sight order, Anko exclaims, shocking them. Ghost? Exclaims Sakura. After a year of training on Uzushio. I needed experience, but first I went to warn the other Jinchuriki of the Akatsuki in a possible Konoha threat to replace me, Naruto begins. Why? Sakura inquires, and Naruto sighs. Danzo wants to turn me into a weapon, a glorified attack dog. I wouldn't be surprised if he tried to steal another Jinchuriki for that purpose, Naruto responds. First, I ran into Nibi Jinchuriki. Yugito ni happened to be outside of Kumo. Yugito trusted me because Matabi and Kurama were old friends. Jinchuriki Darui, the other. The Raikage's right hand does not leave Kumogakure, but she has agreed to pass it on. I even gave her one of my kunai for good measure, as stated by Naruto. Shizune says, in case the Akatsuki attacked, and Naruto nods. I met a missing nin named Hiriko and his 3 followers on the way to Iwa, Naruto says, and Tsunade gasps. Did you say Hiriko? Tsunade asks, nodding. Who is Hiriko Tsunade-sama? Shizune inquires. Tsunade sighs deeply, he was a childhood friend with no special abilities. As a result, he devised a jutsu to steal Kekai Genkai from others. Sensei dispatched us to deal with him, but he escaped with his research, she elaborates. He mastered it. He could make use of the swift, storm, dark, and steel releases. He had the ability to absorb chakra and create a variety of strange animals. It was a difficult battle to put my skills to the test, but Hiriko and his followers were defeated. He rambled about perfection and comrades before passing away. He even recognized me as a ghost. As a result, I adopted it. After I destroyed his research and buried him properly as a shinobi. I went to Iwa, but I was met with trepidation. Both were distrustful of me, and their biju blamed me for Kurama's death. I informed them of the Akatsuki and promptly left, Naruto explains with a scowl on his face. Has Kurama's death hit you hard, Naruto? Hinata inquires, and Naruto nods. Yeah. He gave his life to save mine, says Naruto, rubbing his chin. Anyway, after Iwa, I went to Taki to meet with the Nanabi, but they were nowhere to be found. Taki is terrified of strangers. So I reluctantly made my way to Suna to see Gaara.
He was skeptical at first, but I told him something only the 2 of us knew.
We caught up, and I repaired his seal and freed Shukaku from the madness that was consuming him. Gaara updated me on current events in Konoha and the repeal of Jiji's law. Tsunade looks down as Naruto says. Danzo's decision to have the law repealed was astute, and it explains why everyone turned on me. Leaving aside the current company and the Ichiraku family, Naruto says as he chews on the stem of his lollipop. How clever, Shizune remarks. Danzo is aware that I am still alive somewhere. So that I had no safe haven to return to. He poisoned Konoha with propaganda designed to portray me as Kurama in human form, which most of the older generation believed, Naruto elaborates. If you were told a lie for 3 years in a row, you start to believe it, and anyone who doesn't is a demon lover who should be avoided regardless of their status, Naruto continues. You all swam against the tide of hatred. after splitting up with Gaara. I searched for the land of water but found nothing. The Sanbi was dead and would be resurrected in a few months. The Jinchuriki of the Rokubi is a recluse and hasn't been since the civil war began and ended, Naruto explains, his face serious, and I decided then that I needed a place to be a base of operations. Uzushio was not available, but I knew of a location. Fortunately, I arrived before it was destroyed, he continues. Destroyed? Exclaims Sakura. Naruto inserts the lollipop stem into the wrapper. The Land of Sky attacked here to test their technology before exacting their revenge on the 5 great nations.
Shino, their leader, was a man.
He and Orochimaru had been friends for a long time. He commanded an army of 800 men in a flying city against samurai and a few squads of shinobi. He pauses, but everyone notices the dark look in his eyes. I created 100 clones in various styles and distributed them throughout the city. While I was on my way to the island, the Sky Shinobi and Spring civilians witnessed the birth of the Shiro Senko. Just as Iwa saw my father. I encountered more Sky Ninja on my way to the center after entering the island, where I discovered Shino attempting to resurrect a creature known as the Ribi. It feeds on negative emotions, and Shino slaughtered dozens of them in order to feed it. He even gave the Ribi access to his body, Naruto elaborates. A difficult battle? Tsume inquires, and Naruto nods. Yeah, the Ribi thrives on negative emotions and produces dark chakra, but it, too, requires control. After a couple Rasengan and a Bijudama, it was destroyed, and the fortress sank beneath the waves. When I arrived on the mainland, people started calling me the Ghost of Spring or the Phantom Hero. Fortunately, none of the clones employed the Hiraishin, Naruto responds. You know the Hiraishin as well, Tsume adds, and Naruto smiles as a chain appears in his palm. Everything my parents know, I learned. When things calmed down, I met with Koyuki, who thanked me but was surprised to learn who I really was. She slapped me first, then hugged me. When I told her what had happened, she agreed to make me her personal shinobi or ghost, as stated by Naruto. How did what you did get out? Some claimed that the yellow ghost flashes had returned, resulting in the flea on sight, Yugo claims. Several villages kept vigil over the Land of Sky. Iwa was one of them. As I previously stated, I was relieved that the clones did not use the Hiraishin or Rasengan. They made use of Zangetsu and the Flash Step, which is a more advanced Shunshin I developed for Uzushio, Naruto says, rolling up his sleeve to reveal a whirlpool tattoo. He channels some chakra, and a sword appears within a red sheath. Rising from his seat, Naruto pulls the dado free, revealing a black blade with a whirlpool-shaped crossguard and a red and black hilt. I discovered it in the vault. It, along with another weapon, belonged to the previous Izukage, Naruto explains, reintroducing Zangetsu into its seal. Yo boss. Dinner is ready, a clone announces and dismisses. Well, let us eat. We can discuss it later. Everyone follows Naruto's words. Konoha. Danzo gazes at the Hokage hat on his desk, his lifelong ambition finally realized, and the new Rokudame turns to face his 2 visitors. The first is Orochimaru, and the second is Sasuke Uchiha. Kukuku. Quite the sight, Hokage-sama, says Orochimaru. Indeed. As of today, both of you have been absolved of your crimes and re-enlisted in Konoha's forces as Jonin. Konoha will be the protectorate of Otogakure. Orochimaru smiles as Danzo says. Hokage-sama, of course. The loss of Tsunade and a clan heir is a significant but not devastating blow, states Orochimaru. Orochimaru the Dobi is dead, says Sasuke, his arms folded. Yes, for nearly 3 years now, but unofficially the Jinchuriki could still be alive according Jiraiya. Danzo says to the young Uchiha, but Sasuke ignores him. Kukuku Naruto-kun has always had the devil's luck. Sasuke-kun will find him in no time with his Taka, Orochimaru says, to which Danzo nods. Sasuke scoffs and walks away, leaving the older men to train or brood. Has he awakened the Mangekyo? Danzo asks, and Orochimaru smiles broadly. I made him befriend a girl named Karen and eventually fall in love with her. Before he murdered her and revealed his true identity. Sasuke-kun has become ruthless, says Orochimaru. I want him to be as strong as possible. If the Jinchuriki reappears, I want it brought to heel, Danzo claims. Of course, Hokage-sama, but have you heard about the ghost of spring or the ghost of the flash? Orochimaru inquires. This ghost is ruthless in its efficiency. I'm writing to Spring in an attempt to persuade him to join Konoha, Danzo claims. Kukuku. I wouldn't mind taking over this ghost's body. According to reports, his speed rivals Minato, Danzo scoffs as Orochimaru says. I'll have Jiraiya travel to Spring and meet with Ghost once the correspondences return. My Sharingan will make them loyal to Konoha once Ghost arrives, as the snake twitches, Danzo says. Naruto walks out into his garden, his gaze fixed on the night sky, a cigarette in his mouth. Hamura Gigi. Should I have her meet you? He muses as he runs his fingers through his hair. A soft voice asks, who does Hamura-san need to meet? Naruto looks up and notices Hinata entering the garden. You, he says, startling her. Me? Says Hinata, and Naruto nods. Hamura Gigi is the Hyuga clan's progenitor. I met him around the same time I met Hagoromo Gigi. Following the battle with Kaguya, Hamura went to the moon to keep an eye on her, Naruto elaborates. Why does he want to meet with me? Says Hinata, but Naruto shakes his head. I'm not sure. He didn't tell me anything, Naruto says with a sigh. Follow me, says Naruto, and Hinata does so into the dojo. The two sit on the floor, and Naruto takes her hands in his, gazing into her lavender eyes. First and foremost, I'd like to apologize for failing to recognize your feelings for me. I was preoccupied with Sakura, but, with a shake of her head, Hinata touches his mouth. It's fine, Naruto. I was extremely shy and always gave up. I made numerous errors, but you guided me in the right direction, Hinata begins and closes her eyes. I was always chasing you. I was desperate to catch up with you. I've always wanted to walk alongside you. Fight alongside you, Hinata keeps going. Your strength and smile saved me. I was devastated when they announced your death, but seeing you here. I can finally say. I love you, Naruto. Now and forever, Hinata continues. Naruto's eyes widen and begin to flicker, but a soft smile forms on his lips. Thank you, Hinata, he says as he touches their foreheads. Where are we? Hinata asks as she stands next to Naruto outside a large open cage. My mindscape, says Naruto. A presence appears, and the pair are approached by an elderly man with long white hair, who asks, is this her Naruto? Yes, Hamura Gigi. This is Hinata Hyuga, says Naruto. Byakugan princess. Please save the world my brother created, Hamura says as he approaches Hinata and looks into her Byakugan. Hinata feels a rush of chakra as an aura of purple chakra surrounds her, prompting her to open her eyes and return to the real world. How do you feel? Asks Naruto. Hinata stands up and opens and closes her hands, saying, I feel stronger. That's great. I'll assist you with it, says Naruto. Thank you, Naruto, but you I. W want to. Hinata begins to poke her fingers, her eyes spinning like whirlpools. Wanna what? Says Naruto, approaching and reaching out. Hinata looks up with a shy expression. I want to have sex. She exclaims, and Naruto's eyes widen. You want to have sex? Hinata, are your instincts telling you to do this, or is it true? Hinata gasps but grasps Naruto's chest as he says this. No, I want you to make love to me, Naruto, Hinata says. The following day, Naruto and company were making their way under the henges to get new clothes for them and finally meet with Koyuki. Hinata stood next to him, holding his gloved hand, while the others, namely Tsunade, Anko, Yugao, Sum, and Hana, gave him sly looks. So the place we're going to makes clothes in an unusual way, but they're battle-ready and highly resistant, says Naruto. He was dressed in black cargo pants and combat boots, with a half mask covering his face and a white oriental shirt with black sleeves. This is it, Anko says incredulously as the group arrives at a fairly unremarkable store. It is, Naruto says as he opens the door, Oi Dojima-san. I have customers, he exclaims. Rapid footsteps are heard as an effeminate man rushes towards him, shouting, Menma-kun. Dojima has a slim build, short cyan hair that is slicked back, and blue eyes. Welcome to my abode. Please keep up with me, he says this while dressed in a kimono. The group follows them with caution, and Dojima leads them downstairs. Don't be fooled by their appearance. My art has been battle-tested and is very resistant. Menma-kun can confirm this, he says this while sliding open a set of doors. The group exclaims as the room fills with mannequins wearing various outfits. If you see anything, please let me know. They are made of a special fabric and will automatically adjust to your body type, says Dojima. For real. That's convenient, says Anko. Dojima put everything on my tab, Naruto says as he sits on a sofa and pulls a book from his cargoes. Dojima rubs his hands together. Of course, Dojima responds. As Naruto reads, Hinata and the others begin to look through the various outfits. Any preferences? Dojima asks. This appears to be adaptable. I primarily use taijutsu. This outfit appears to be appropriate, says Hinata, a slim-sleeved, light lavender kimono blouse with detached sleeves but mesh connecting them, a dark purple obi, navy shorts and footed tights with ankle boots, and lavender fur around the top completed the look. Interesting selection. This coat is also recommended by me, Dojima says, pointing to a coat. That would be nice, Hinata says as she takes the clothes into the changing room. It is a hip-length white coat with lavender fur on the cuffs and collar. This is perfect for me, Sakura says. A sleeveless maroon Kyupa dress with black capri pants, calf-length kunoichi boots, and black arm sleeves that fasten at the middle finger. I'll take this, Anko says, indicating a short gray skirt, a gray buttonless jacket, a black hat, a black bra, and long black boots. I'll add a bodysuit. So I don't show too much skin, Anko says as she accepts the clothes. Tsunade wears a pair of black cargos with red trim, a lavender suit vest, and a black tie, with a black button-up overcoat and white gloves. Sum wears a black leotard and white chaps, knee-length boots with arm-length and fingerless gloves. Ha ha ha. I'll show you all the skin I want, says Sum. Hana dresses in the polar opposite, a black buttoned vest with coattails and a single silver button on the front. Underneath, there's a white sleeveless crop undershirt and white shorts. She puts on a pair of black low-heeled boots, full stockings with a black to purple color gradation at her ankles, and purple arm warmers. Shizune is the most traditional, wearing a black hakama with a white kimono blouse. A black shrug with long left and short right sleeves, black arm warmers that reach her middle fingers, and a purple band around the top. Yugao dresses in an outfit similar to her Anbu uniform, but with a dark purple kimono blouse instead of a vest and heeled combat boots. "What do you think, Naruto-kun?" Shizune inquires. Naruto raises his head from his book to examine their options. "I like them," he says. Dojima says, "Menma-kun, I have some weapons and accessories upstairs." That is acceptable. We can now proceed to Koyuki-sama. As they excuse themselves, Naruto makes a remark. "You weren't kidding about the strange fashion sense," Anko says as they leave the store. "It's not all bad." Dojima was a former shinobi in Spring before Dodo took over. He left and began his journey, learning about clothes rather than war. As they take to the roofs to cover more ground, Naruto makes a remark. Menma dono. Koyuki-sama is most displeased. A guard says as the oddly dressed group enters the palace and is led to Koyuki's study. "In what way?" asks Naruto, as the guard grabs the door handle. "I'm not sure, but she got a delivery," the guard says as he opens the door. As the group enters, Koyuki sits at her desk, waiting for the guard to leave. "You can drop your henges," she says, and the group does so. "Thank you for your assistance, Koyuki-sama," Tsunade says as they bow. Koyuki smiles and raises her hand. "It's a great honor for me." Despite Konoha's bias against him, you all didn't abandon Naruto-kun in his hour of need and kept his memory alive. She begins and sighs. She continues. "Naruto is a hero, as his father desired," Tsume says, and Koyuki nods. "I'm curious, what was the delivery that upset you?" asks Naruto, as Koyuki frowns and hands him a missive. "It was delivered by a toad from Konoha," says Koyuki, and the room falls silent. "So they wish to meet with the ghost of Spring A," Naruto says as he reads the missive and tosses it back on the desk. "Should I decline?" asks Koyuki, but Naruto shakes his head. "No. Just tell them I'm not in the country right now," Naruto responds. "Do you think that's a good idea?" Tsunade inquires, and Naruto smiles with a fox-like grin. "Anyway, let's get back to the present. Now, as Naruto may or may not have explained, I would like you all to join Spring," Koyuki asserts. "That's all well and good, but technically we're all dead in the eyes of the world," Anko remarks, snorting. "Although true. You would be following in my footsteps. You can use a mask or special henge to impersonate Tsunade. You'll be ghosts or phantoms who only answer to Koyuki," Naruto elaborates. "I even have codenames to keep you safe. Mercy will be Tsunade. Shizune will play Sen in Senbon. Sakura will play Cherry. Anko will take on the role of Black Mamba. Widowmaker will be Tsume. Hana will play Wolf. Yugao will play the Moon, and Hinata will play Cinnamon," Naruto continues. Tsume says, "I like that. Ha ha ha," followed by Anko. Naruto chuckles, but his body stiffens and he forms a scowl. "One of my seal activated," he says, rolling up his right sleeve. "Akatsuki," Tsunade says, and Naruto nods slowly. "Possible or just an accident," says Naruto, channeling his chakra to another seal. A long coat emerges from the seal, which Naruto slips on. It was white with blue trim and a beaked hood. "Hopefully this is nothing, but I've learned to hope for the best and prepare for the worst," Naruto says as he pulls his hood up to cover his face. "Do you want any of us to accompany you?" Hinata inquires. "For the time being, please wait. If I need assistance, I'll send a clone," Naruto says, holding a ram sign, before disappearing in a white flash. Senagakure. Naruto enters the office with a sigh. "What's the situation?" "Temari?" he asks, seeing the blonde. Tamari is a young woman with sandy blonde hair pulled back in 4 pigtails, teal-green eyes, and a short-sleeved black combat kimono with a red obi. Gaara has been abducted by the Akatsuki, Tamari says, as Naruto clenches his fist. How long? Asks Naruto. It took about a day and a half. Kankuro pursued him, but he was poisoned, Tamari responds, go get Mercy and Sen, Naruto says as he pulls down his hood, and the clone vanishes. Why didn't you contact me sooner? Asks Naruto as he walks over to Gaara's desk. Since then, I've been stuck with the council. I've been attempting to flee, Tamari says as he sits on the sofa. He's still alive and well. The dummy seal I placed on top of his new seal is still active. I'll return him, Naruto says, picking up a glove on the desk and inhaling deeply. Another flash fills the room as Tsunade and Shizune appear with the clone, startling Tsunade. Senju Tsunade? Tamari yells. Naruto replaces the glove on the desk, for the time being, refer to them as Mercy and Sen. I'll explain everything when I get back, he claims. We'll be under henges to relieve stress, Tsunade says, activating their henges. Tsunade's blonde hair has reached her ankles and has darkened 2 shades, and her honey eyes have turned a dark amethyst. Shizune's black hair turns ash white and reaches to her mid-back, complementing her golden eyes. Okay, but Naruto, you should be aware that Konoha's council has requested assistance. A team should be on its way, Naruto TSKS as Tamari says. Won't matter, Naruto says as he walks to the window, I'll be back soon, he promises as he leaps out. Alright. I'll take you to Kankuro and the other injured people, Tamari says, and both of them nod. Tsunade inquires, do you know who poisoned him? Sasori of the Red Sand, Tamari responds, and Shizune exclaims. That could be a problem, says Shizune. Tsunade, however, scoffs. Unknown address. Gaara floats in a blue bubble, chakra seeping out of his mouth and eyes, with 6 projections and 2 physical people surrounding him. One is a man with long blonde hair that is pulled up into a high ponytail and covers the left side of his face. The second is a hunched figure with a mask covering the lower half of his face, but the black cloaks adorned with red clouds tied them all together. This is taking far too long with all of us, one of the projections exclaims. With the Akatsuki cloak, he has slicked back silver hair and purple eyes. Shut up, Hidan, says a gruff voice. He is a tall man with pupil-less green eyes and red sclera, and he wears a mask that covers the lower half of his face. I agree with Hidan and Kakuzu. The seal on the Ichibi container is faulty. The extraction should have already occurred, a monotone voice says he has Sharingan eyes, black hair pulled back in a ponytail, and prominent tear troughs. Itachi is correct. The Ichibi should be extracted, says a man with purple, rippled patterned eyes. Is the Ichibi showing resistance, pain? Inquires the group's lone female. She has amber eyes, lavender eyeshadow, and a labrae piercing, as well as short blue hair in a bun. We better hurry, our clones are fighting a Konoha team. With Itachi's little brother, a man with blue skin and shark-like features says. My blundering little brother. Kisame, Itachi says. What the fuck happened? Hidan exclaims as Gaara vanishes in a flash of white. Naruto lands with Gaara on his shoulder in full view of them, saying, I happened. Who the hell are you and how did you get in here? Exclaims Deidara. I am simply a ghost, Naruto says as he smirks beneath his hood, his hidden eyes on Itachi. Don't you just love space-time ninjutsu? Adds Naruto, and a Bunshin appears next to him, handing over Gaara. The clone vanishes. You are only postponing the inevitable. We'll simply recapture the Ichibi once more, Pain says this with his purple eyes unblinking. I can tell you right now. It won't be as easy as it used to be. I'm here to deliver a message. There will be no warning. My protection extends to the Jinchuriki, Hidan, Deidara, and Kisame laugh as Naruto says this. Stranger, you're hilarious. That's too bad. You're about to perish, Deidara yells while tossing a small clay bird. When Naruto makes a fist with his right hand, a shuriken coated in Raiden whizzes out, stopping the bird in its tracks. Deidara Sasori kill him and take the Ichibi, Pain says this as the projections stop. Naruto stood motionless as Sasori waved his tail and Deidara held up lumps of clay, shouting, time to show you why art is explosion hum. Naruto raises his left arm and makes a fist, causing a long blade to emerge from his sleeve. Do not underestimate him, idiot, Sasori says solemnly. Deidara casts a glance at Sasori, which proves fatal as Naruto blinks in front of him with a roundhouse kick, sending him into the rock wall but only as far as the back of his head touches the rock. Naruto slams a right to Deidara's head, causing spider web cracks, but blood slowly begins to trickle from the blonde's ears, eyes, nose, and mouth as his lifeless body falls to the ground. Now that the annoyance has passed, we can talk, Naruto says, turning to face Sasori. Talk you say, Sasori responds curtly. Naruto draws back his blade and reaches down to drag Deidara along with him, yes. We have a lot in common because we are both army killers, dropping the corpse, he says. I am the Flash's ghost. Like you, I annihilated a nation with my repertoire. The fact that you have not attacked demonstrates. You are more intelligent than your recently deceased partner, looking down at Deidara, Naruto says. I am. I see you have a lot of power. The fact that you easily got around the barrier. You handled the cage with ease. You even dispatched Deidara with ease. So say. What do you want, Ghost? But first explain to me what art means to you, says Sasori, and Naruto tilts his head. Art is something that is fleeting but can also be eternal, depending on your perspective, says Naruto. I can accept that, Sasori says, and his body bursts open, revealing the body to be a puppet. He has wide grayish-brown eyes, short mousy red hair, and a hazy or dreamy expression on his face. Interesting. You're a living puppet. Based on that unblinking stare, says Naruto, and Sasori tilts his head. True art is who I am. Why did you assist the cage? Sasori claims. I intend to break the wheel that is Jinchuriki and the system that is in place, Naruto begins, but Sasori looks away. If that's the case, join the Akatsuki, says Sasori. No offense, but your organization is similar to the shinobi villages. You want to use the Jinchuriki, and thus the Biju. I'm going to defy the system. People in positions of power have long exploited Jinchuriki for their own ends. As if they were objects rather than people, as stated by Naruto. Interesting words, Sasori says, but what does it have to do with me? Naruto extends his hand. I'd like you to assist me in breaking the wheel. I understand that I am a new player in this game, but I can provide you with some excellent benefits, says Naruto. Your parents were murdered by the White Fang. I'd like to offer you the opportunity to add his son to your collection. I can even deliver Orochimaru to you, Naruto continues. Interesting offers, but the Akatsuki don't like traitors, Sasori says, as Naruto laughs. They are ranked second on my list. I'll get to them eventually, says Naruto, blinking behind Sasori and touching his shoulder. Please take my offer into consideration. I'd hate to ruin you, Naruto says, returning his gaze to Deidara. Sasori glares and reaches for a scroll but comes to a halt, Meet me on the Tenchi Bridge in the Land of Grass in 10 days at noon. Concerning Orochimaru, I'm meeting with a spy. I'll think about it if you're there. He claims Naruto picks up Deidara and carries him on his back. I'll be picking him up. In 10 days, I'll see you, he says, disappearing as mysteriously as he arrived. This ghost is extremely powerful. He'd be a great addition to my collection, but he's extremely dangerous. Perhaps even more dangerous than Pain, Sasori pondered. Sinagakure. Temari waited for Naruto at the gates, his clone having returned Gaara and taken him to Tsunade. Team 7 and Taka trailed Temari, with Kakashi, Yamato, Ino, Sai, Sasuke, Suigetsu, and Jugo among its members. Sasuke, like Kakashi and Yamato, was wearing a Jonin vest, but his outfit also included a light blue shirt with the Uchiha symbol on the sleeves. Black cargo pants, shin guards, a light blue open front apron with red diamonds, and boots. Was it wise, Temari-san, to let these unknowns save Kazekage-sama and your brother? Yamato asks. Seeing how they saved my brothers without hesitation. Unlike all of you, Temari remarks. Shut up. Sasuke-kun needed to kill his brother, Ino says, causing Temari to huff. So, why are you still here? Because Gaara is now safe, the mission has been cancelled. No thanks to the all-powerful Konoha. You were more worried about missing Nin than a cage, Temari continues. Mama, we'd like to meet Kazekage Savior, Samas says Kakashi. A silhouette appears in the distance, carrying something on its shoulder. HN doesn't appear tough, Sasuke remarks, and Suigetsu titters. Perhaps I can cut him up, Suigetsu suggests. Naruto appears, but his eyes narrow beneath his hood. It had to be them, he thinks. Temari-san has the Kazekage awakened, Naruto says as he approaches the main gate. Not yet, Ghost, but Mercy and Sen are watching over him and Kankuro, Temari says before noticing the body. Naruto takes off his hood and turns slightly to reveal Deidara's corpse. He was one of your assailants. For the time being, Sasori has escaped, he says this, but his gaze is drawn to the Konoha group. Ghost, Yamato inquires. My name is Ghost, but you can call me Menma if you prefer. On the way back, I didn't see you. As a result, you fled, says Naruto with a snarl on his face. Sasuke reaches for his Chikudo. We do not run. We came across Itachi Uchiha and Kisame Hoshigaki, also known as Missing Nin, but they turned out to be carefully crafted clones, he elaborates. And what happened next? You chose to flee rather than pursue the Kazekage, says Naruto matter-of-factly. Don't speak like that to Sasuke-kun, Ino yells, and Naruto winces. So, what happened? Naruto asks, looking for blood. Someone had taken the Kazekage, according to Kisami's clone. As a result, we retreated. Kakashi claims. Naruto shakes his head, rubbing his brow, but notices a familiar sword on Suigetsu's back. That is a Kabikirabocho. It was last heard to be in the possession of Zabuza Momochi. He claims. Suigetsu smiles at Naruto. I got it back. Obtain this. It was used as a grave marker with a hunter mask. I shattered it and took the sword. I intend to collect all 7 missed swords, in a cocky tone, he says. So Konoha desecrates the dead? A word of caution. Those who desecrate the dead are sentenced to join their ranks. With his eyes narrowed, Naruto says. You call yourself Ghost. Dickless as in Ghost of the Flash, Sai says, drawing gasps from his group, but Naruto rubs his eyes. Leaving that insult aside, my name is Ghost or Ghost of Spring. Ghost of the Flash, but as I previously stated, call me Menma. Now I want to collect the bounty on him and check on Kazekage, Naruto says as he walks past the group. Fight me, Sasuke says, and Naruto comes to a halt but continues walking away with a shake of his head and a sigh. Temari begins to follow but then turns to face the Konoha group. "I'll pay your Hokage for requesting the mission, but I'd like you all to leave. If you press, you will violate our neutrality agreement. Now you must depart," she claims. "Not until I fight the ghost of the Flash," Sasuke says, reaching for his sword, but is stopped by Kakashi. "Enough, Sasuke," Kakashi says as he approaches. "Hokage-sama has invited him to Konoha. You can confront him there," he murmurs. As the group takes off, Sasuke scoffs and turns on his heels, saying, "HN." Temari sighs as they walk away, thinking, how can the council be so stupid to request them? She thought, catching up to Naruto. He stood near a pole, arms folded and a lollipop in his mouth. What happened to the Akatsuki member? Temari asks, as Naruto follows her. As they make their way to the hospital, Naruto says, "I had a clone take it to the bounty office." "So a neutrality agreement." "Gaara never told me," Naruto says, to which Temari nods. "Yes, Gaara intended to break our alliance. We were still weak from the invasion after seeing Konoha's treatment of you. As a result, we signed a neutrality and trade agreement. Those old fools on the council, on the other hand, continue to appease Konoha for anything," Temari elaborates. "Consider forming a trade alliance with Spring. I can talk to Koyuki and persuade her to persuade the Wind Daimyo," as they enter Gaara's room, Naruto says. "That would be a huge help," Temari says as he opens the door. Tsunade was looking through the chart while Shizune was healing. "It took you a long time, Menma," Tsunade says. "I apologize for running into some old friends. Sasuke and Team 7. By the way, what is a Jonin?" Naruto says as he closes the door. "I thought he was with Orochimaru," says Shizune. Naruto sits in a chair and rotates his lollipop in his mouth. Danzo may have called them back, but the Teme is now a Jonin, and he has his own merry band of misfits. One who stole Zabuza's sword and shattered Haku's mask, he says this while crunching his lollipop. "Anyway. How's Catboy?" Naruto asks, to which Temari snorts. "He's in good shape. I extracted the toxin and created an antidote. I even impressed Chio, the old bag. I informed her that we had persuaded me to train us," Tsunade elaborates. "How long until he wakes up?" asks Naruto, and Shizune stops her mystic palm. "Several hours. For the time being, Temari-san has reserved a room at the Oasis Hotel," Shizune asserts. Naruto yawns and rises from his seat. "All right. I'm going to take a bath. If Gaara awakens, send a clone," excusing himself, he says. Naruto sighs contentedly as he sinks into the large hot spring, a small tray of sake floating on top of him. He has a towel covering his face and his fox ears twitching with delight, but the sound of water sloshing catches him and he hides them. "How did you manage to escape?" Naruto wonders as he takes a sip of sake. A woman sits next to Naruto, a towel covering her head, and says, "He's a heavy sleeper." "How are things after my performance?" asks Naruto. Pain is quite agitated. "Sasori has gone dark, and Zetsu has confirmed Deidara's death," she claims. "By dangling Kakashi and Orochimaru in front of him, I may or may not have persuaded Sasori to help me. In 10 days, we'll meet on the Tenchi Bridge in Grass Country," Naruto says as he takes another sip of sake. "Should I notify Pain?" she asks, but Naruto shakes his head. "No, I can deal with Sasori if things go wrong. Anyway, how are you feeling?" Naruto inquires. "It's progressing slowly. I might accept your offer," she claims. If things worsen, I'll pull you out with my kunai. Will the other one deviate if necessary? With his eyes closed, Naruto inquires. She is ready. Pain's recent actions have worried her. Their perspective differs from the original goal, she claims. If she needs a push, tell her about Danzo and Jiraiya's actions. She can be a valuable ally, Naruto says as he receives a kiss on the cheek. I will. Menma-kun, farewell, she claims when Naruto opens his eyes, his companion has vanished. Geez. She looks like a bat, he muses. Tsunade says, stepping into the water in a towel with her hair pinned up, who's like a bat. Tsunade shakes her head as Naruto pushes his tray to her. No one. Gaara awake? He asks. No, not yet. I desired a soak. I'm intrigued by something. You stated that you wish to destroy Konoha, but only those who follow Danzo. What if, Tsunade inquires. What if the entire Konoha follows him? Naruto begins, but sighs. Then they perish. I am no longer the naive and stupid kid you met years ago. I've picked up some of Kurama's cynical outlook on life. Konoha's people are sheep. They despise me for transporting Kurama. Nonetheless, they respect my father. The civilians of Konoha believe they are shinobi. You witnessed it firsthand during council meetings. The civilians insert themselves into situations about which they have no knowledge, Naruto continues. Is that why Koyuki wants shinobi to be loyal to her alone while fighting for the people from the shadows? Tsunade asks after a sip of sake. Yes, a shinobi cannot serve two masters. All shinobi are affected by this, but Konoha has gone too far. Konoha's perversion would make the previous Hokage cry. The current company included, Tsunade scoffs as Naruto says. Preach. If my grandfather or granduncle were still alive, those fools would never have done this. Hell Sensei at his peak, says Tsunade. Tsunade notices Naruto's numerous tattoos of foxes, spirals, and flowers on his body, but it is his scars that draw her in, with the Chidori wound to his chest being the most prominent. I kept them as reminders to keep me on track, Naruto says as he wraps a towel around his waist, but her eyes widen. The word demon was written in blood across Naruto's upper back. This was something I had done. I usually keep it beneath a henge, he says as he raises his arms. Pose by Randy Orton. As I said. Tell someone a lie long enough and they'll start to believe it, Naruto says, before being engulfed by a pair of arms from behind. I'm so sorry, Naruto, Tsunade says quietly. Tsunade, you don't have to apologize to me. Come on. Let's go see about Gaara. So that we can return home, Tsunade nods into his back as Naruto says. The two redress and dry themselves before heading to the hospital. Kazekage-sama, a voice says, and Gaara sees Shizune as he slowly opens his eyes to a white ceiling and the smell of medical cleaner. Who are you? Gaara inquires. My name is Sen, and I am a ghost ally, Shizune says, widening Gaara's eyes. Gaara. Thank Kami, Tamari says as she enters with Kankuro in a wheelchair. Gaara groans and slowly sits up, whispering, I owe Ghost my life. I feel the same way about bringing Mercy and Sen, Kankuro says, and Shizune hands him a cup of water, followed by Gaara. Where is he? Gaara inquires. He should be returning soon. He is looking forward to seeing you. It's a good thing Tamari-san had his kunai, Shizune asserts. Gaara. The council sent for a Konoha team, Tamari says, his eyes narrowing, but Ghost made it back before they arrived, she adds, but I paid them for the request to appease them for the time being. As Naruto and Tsunade enter, the door opens, and he says, finally awake Gaara.
Thank you, Ghost, Gaara says, but Naruto waved his hand away. You can address me by my full name. You are among allies, Naruto says, placing his hand on the door, and you can drop your hinges. He continues, shocking both Kankuro and Gaara as Tsunade and Shizune appear. Godem-sama? Gaara asks, and Tsunade nods slowly. Yes. Naruto faked our deaths to flee Konoha before Danzo Shimura led a coup, explains Tsunade. Gaara rubs his eyes and cups his chin in thought. This is shocking to say the least, he says. True. I was of a similar mind when I saw Naruto alive, Tsunade remarks, and Shizune nods. Anyway, Gaara. Temari told me about your neutrality agreement with Konoha, Naruto says, as Gaara sighs. We were desperate, and we were still recovering from my father's errors. Nothing would make me happier than to rip up that agreement, Gaara claims. You might get that opportunity. I'll talk to Koyuki about forming a full trade alliance with Suna. Allowing you to escape Konoha's protection, the Sand siblings gasp as Naruto says this. Would you do that, Naruto? Gaara inquires, and Naruto nods. You are a brother in arms and a friend, says Naruto. Gaara, I want to speak with him, Shukaku exclaims, gripping his head. Shukaku wishes to speak with you, Gaara says, tilting his head. I'm still mad at you, Naruto says, holding out his fist, which Gaara bumps. The two found themselves in a large room with Shukaku looming over them. Hello there, Shukaku. How can I assist you? When Naruto asks, Shukaku leans down. You may be the one father had in mind, and the mark on your hand represents this. I'd like to share some of my chakra with you. Magnetic forces will be generated by you, says Shukaku. Amazing, Naruto says, can the others do this as well? Shukaku nods, holding out his paw. Yes. Now touch my paw, Shukaku says, and Naruto touches his right hand to his paw, causing a surge of chakra to rush into his body. Naruto grits his teeth in pain, but it passes quickly. Thank you very much, Shukaku. I intend to use this power to further my cause, he claims. Thanks Gaara, he says as Naruto and Gaara open their eyes. Similarly, Gaara says. What happened? Asks Tsunade, and Naruto smiles. It's a Jinchuriki thing, says Naruto, as Tsunade frowns. Can I leave the hospital? Gaara inquires, and Tsunade responds with her mystic palm. Yes, but Kankuro must remain until tomorrow, Tsunade responds. We'll stay until tomorrow and then leave. I'll dispatch a clone to notify the others, Naruto says, and both of them nod. Tsunade-sama. Shizune-san. Naruto. Thank you so much for rescuing my brothers, Temari says, bowing. Naruto stands up and waves his hands. Temari, it was nothing. You three are my dear friends and people. I'll always be there for you, he says this, and all three of them nod. If you'll excuse us. We'll retire for the night, Naruto says as the three excuse themselves. So, what now? Danzo will undoubtedly be informed of your presence by Team 7, Naruto scoffs as Shizune says. Let him. Spreads the infamy, says Naruto. I would concur. This prevents that cretin from committing his forces to find him, Tsunade says as they arrive at their hotel. There is only one bed, says Shizune. Unless you get handsy, Naruto says as he slowly removes his coat. Shizune flushes bright red and covers her face, saying, I'm going for a soak, and hurrying away, leaving Tsunade and Naruto behind. The latter takes his boots off and lies down on the bed, unbuttoning his shirt to reveal a white wife beater. Tsunade says, "Naruto," and Naruto looks up as she tosses her coat and removes her suit vest. The following day, Naruto and his friends travel to the Kazekage mansion to meet with Gaara before returning to Spring. "How much are you going to tell Gaara?" Tsunade inquires, feeling revitalized and no longer unsure. Naruto pops a lollipop into his mouth, just the fundamentals. Suna remains loyal to Konoha, and if Gaara learns too much, it could be disastrous, he claims. "I wonder what the others are up to," Shizune says, refreshed. As they approach the mansion, Naruto muses, "Anko and Sum are probably drinking all my booze," and Tsunade laughs. Anbu was waiting at the mansion gate and led them inside, saying, "The Kazekage is waiting for you," as she opened the door. Naruto and his friends arrive at Gaara's desk and find Temari sitting on a sofa. "Morning all," Naruto says. "Good morning," Gaara responds. "So where do you want me to start?" Naruto asks, taking a seat in front of Gaara while Tsunade and Shizune take a seat on another sofa. "The death of the Godem," Gaara responds, holding out his hand while Naruto places a lollipop in it. "So I came to Konoha to look around. People despised my existence and were relieved when I died," Naruto begins. "The current Rokudame and council repealed a law my sensei created to keep the younger generation pure, but frankly, it didn't work because the older generation told their children to avoid Naruto at all costs," Tsunade says. "Indeed, in order for me to have no safe haven to return to. My ostensible friends and comrades betrayed me. Whether it's because of stupidity, laziness, or simple blind hatred," Temari frowns as Naruto says. "I waited a few days before scouting and setting up some things. Before visiting Tsunade. She told me who was still loyal to me and gathered them all together, with the exception of a few others. I extracted them using the Hiraishin and a few exploding clones," Naruto elaborates. "I left another clone for the fallout and discovered Danzo was quickly given the name Rokudame. At the same time, I took everyone to Uzushio and used my sixth path Yang Chakra to transform some of my Biju Chakra into Pseudo-Fox Biju," Naruto elaborates. "Can they transform into full foxes like you?" Gaara wonders as Temari rises from her seat. "Aside from ears and tails. No, but they are more powerful and durable than before, with larger reserves comparable to the Uzumaki clan," as Temari hands him a glass of water, Naruto responds. "So, what are you going to do now?" "Konoha and Akatsuki will be keeping an eye out for you," Gaara claims. "My goal is to destroy the shinobi system and use Jinchuriki as weapons. To ensure that people like us are never used in this manner again," Naruto says, and Gaara nods slowly. "Iwa and Kumo aren't going to take that chance. The Tsuchikage is traditional, whereas the Raikage is all about strength," Gaara claims. "True. I know it won't be easy, but this is something I'll do," Naruto says, and Gaara notices the resolve in those blue orbs. "Things are slowly changing here. I established a shinobi academy for the less fortunate. I've seen some promising individuals," Gaara claims. "However, good. The older generation is still stuck in the past and will judge your choices for change," Naruto says as he gets up from his seat. "Be safe, brother, and if you need me, I'll be there in a flash," says Naruto as he rises from his seat. "Take this scroll. It will help with your new skills," Gaara says as he holds out a scroll to Naruto, who nods. Tsunade and Shizune clutch Naruto's shoulders as they vanish in a flash of white, and Gaara sits back down, thinking, "The world will start to change, and we need to stay ahead of it to see it through."
So that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel for more awesome stories like this. Thank you. See you all in my next video.